Welcome to the second episode of the Coaches of the Common. My name is Jan Mayer, moderating today, this lunchtime. And of course, we have this series of episodes of the Coaches of the Common where we bring in specialists in coaches, right, for you that are actually available through the Common community. So today, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we've got Mandy Reeve. This is an interesting topic, seriously. I'm within the age group, by the way. We have Mandy Reeve, Transformational Coach, and she is here to talk about the quarter life crisis. This is the first time not today, but this is the first time I've ever heard of it. So I'm really, really curious and want to talk about the quarter life crisis. Is there such a thing? Really? So, welcome, Mandy. I'd love to hear more about it and stuff, etc., especially your story as well. And for the audience out there who is watching on Facebook, and we are also live, I believe, on Instagram, just put in your comments. Don't be shy. Raise your hand. Well, we won't see you raising your hand, but type in your comments and questions, and of course, we will take that up later. So first question. What is quarter life crisis, Mandy? What is it? I've heard of midlife and all that stuff, but what is quarter life crisis?
Well, Jen, quarter life crisis. So quarter life crisis usually starts around, crisis generally happens around a transition period. So in terms of quarter life crisis, you make that transition from being in the home, the comfortable space, moving out into the world, into adulthood. And so in terms of quarter life crisis, that transition can lead to a number of different issues, if you want to put it that way, around who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Some feelings of hopelessness because you've gone from being in a stable kind of environment to out having to support yourself.
Right.
As well as a lack of purpose. So you've had all these thoughts around what your dream life would be or what things would look like, and then you're out in the world, and then all of a sudden you're looking for something more. And I think in today's world too, around dreams not happening as we expect them to happen, we have rising house prices, not so much job security anymore, that this is becoming more and more prevalent.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just curious, quarter life, is there like an age group that you're looking at?
So in terms of, I probably extended a bit more than what the research kind of says. The average age, according to LinkedIn, is 26 years and 6 months.
Oh, okay. That's so
but
exciting.
In terms of you're looking at your 20s into early 30s.
Okay, early 30s. I think I'm still within age. Anyway, yeah, okay, but let's just step back a bit. I mean, what's your story? What made you decide to focus on the quarter life crisis and coach people about it?
Okay. I suppose the thing to remember is that some people don't just have one quarter life crisis, you can have more than one.
Oh,
so I've had a number of them.
Oh my. Hear that. Okay, yeah, okay.
My first was around going out. I'd always wanted to be a teacher, and then got into university and it didn't live up to those expectations. The second one was probably my biggest kind of realization around, I was engaged, I had kind of followed what I felt was expected, so around moving out of home, going to university, finding the boyfriend of my dreams who ended up being a fiance, and then really realizing when we were engaged that I wanted to travel and he didn't want to travel.
Right.
So I decided before we got married and settled down and bought the house and white picket fence and the 2.5 children.
2.5 children, okay.
To do 8 weeks in Europe, and it was the first time I'd been away and had an opportunity to kind of think for myself, rather than having everybody around me trying to have that input into what I should be feeling.
Yep.
And just literally about halfway through the trip just went, I'm not happy, and I haven't been happy in such a long period of time.
Right.
And had a realization that this wasn't going to be my last trip to Europe. I didn't know what it was going to be, but by the end of the trip I knew I was moving back to London and that I had to go home and break things off with my fiance. So that was, in terms of why I picked niching as quarter life crisis and why I feel it's so important, is so many people have these feelings in different parts of their lives, and in terms of realizing that we need to do what makes us happy, not what makes everybody else happy, I felt it was an important topic in terms of helping people move through that.
Okay, yep. So the expectations versus what we really want to do, and I can relate. I know, been there, correct? Okay. So, but is there, like, because this is, and for me personally, for those in the audience, I mean, if this is new to you, you know, we'd love to hear your questions and your comments as well. Are there any signs, you know, if I have a friend or, you know, a family member that all of a sudden, I don't know, is there something we can look for and then, okay, there you go, Mandy, you're having a quarter life crisis?
I suppose it's easier to talk in terms of what a person may be feeling. So in terms of, there may be feelings of being trapped. So trapped in a situation that you've chosen to put yourself into, but not sure why all of a sudden it doesn't feel right, and you need to get out of it. So it may be a job, or job, career, a relationship that you thought was right, something that makes you feel trapped. So that's one kind of sign that, in terms of, you may be going through a quarter life crisis.
Yep. Okay. So being trapped, correct?
Being trapped, feelings of hopelessness, not happy, questioning where your life is going. So who am I? What do I want to achieve in my life? Like, what makes me happy? What's my purpose? So you'll be questioning everything kind of around you and trying to make sense of it all.
And does it usually happen when, even though things are going right, so you've got a stable job, maybe you've got a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or maybe you've got a partner, so everything seems to be going right, but you feel like nothing or something's missing? Is that the same? Is that the sign as well?
I think that is the sign. Like, something's missing, you're not quite sure what it is, and maybe you need to explore it a bit more.
Okay, and is that true as well as to flip the coin and go, well, everything doesn't seem to be working at all, and now you're questioning everything? Or is it based on your experience, do you see that more on when things are okay but you're questioning, or more so on the negative side?
I think there's both. I wouldn't say either way, because everybody's experience of life is different, right? And everybody's experience of a quarter life crisis is different, and everybody has different skills that they use to deal with different situations. So I think it's different for everyone.
Okay, yep, I'm going to pause for a bit. Is there any question from the audience at all? Let's just check. Natalia, do we have anyone? Or do you have any questions? Yep.
Yes, so what are the next steps if I find out that I recognize that I'm having the quarter life crisis?
In terms of next steps, I'd say there's some things that you can do to help ease the situation. In terms of, number one thing, stop comparing yourself to others. It's part of why you feel you're not where you should be in your life, and around feelings of kind of like hopelessness and all sorts of things, is people, I suppose that too, with the rise of social media, it's so easy to compare your life to others. And so the first thing I would say, stop following the things on social media that make you feel unhappy as a starting point. Start exploring the things that make you happy.
Yeah.
Be curious about your life.
Okay.
Follow the things that make you happy.
We have another question here.
Okay. Yeah.
What is the benefit of working with a coach?
What's the benefit of working with a coach? Yes, the people who are going through a quarter life crisis. Good question. Do you know who actually sent that?
Deborah.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. Thanks for the question. Go ahead.
Benefits of working with a coach. I suppose when you're trying to deal with something yourself, it can get a bit overwhelming. So the benefits of working with a coach is you can help lay it out and break it down to something smaller and not feel so large. We can help put things in place and action plans and different goals and stuff in place to help you work towards and figure out what you want in life.
Yeah. And how does a session, can you paint us a picture on how a session would look like? I mean, is it, I don't know, 30 minutes, 1 hour? Is it weekly? Do you meet up with your clients during that time, or is it a monthly thing?
I think when it comes to life kind of stuff,
Yeah.
To me, once a month is quite good for, say, an hour.
Yeah.
It really depends how quickly somebody wants to move through something.
Yeah.
Some people like to take the time to reflect and go through things, while other people just want to take action and get on with it.
Right.
So I would say as a start off, once a month for an hour. I would be checking in a lot more regularly than that to make sure everything's okay, and that hold a bit of accountability there to see if things are happening. But yeah.
Do you find yourself talking to most of it? I mean, I'm just thinking if I should start with you and I'm going through a quarter life crisis.
Yeah.
Would they be comfortable sharing about it? Because especially when it's very personal. So how do you get through that?
So I always have a session to begin with in terms of, to me, finding a coach where you have rapport and get along with is really important. So in terms of what I would suggest with any kind of form of professional, be it a counsellor, be it a coach, be it whatever, that you have that rapport there. So making sure you don't feel pressured into anything till you know that it's going to be right for you, and that it works both ways, that the coach can feel that there's a relationship and there's a bit of a rapport there, so people do feel comfortable coming to you and talking about what could be quite intimate details of somebody's life.
Yeah. That's interesting. And lastly, before we go, I know we have, I think, just a minute to go. If there are any questions from the audience, please let us know. All right, so can you, just to wrap things up, is there a specific, maybe exercise, just give us a sneak peek of what you can do, and pretend I'm one of your, going through the quarter life crisis, right? Yeah, so you did mention earlier that it will take time for someone to open up and find out and try to diagnose, so to speak. Maybe the wrong word to use, and identify why are there a lot of questions, exactly, to just move them forward. So do you have anything, like the one thing that you do, like a little exercise that you do that's a best practice that they would expect from you? From a transformational coach that deals specific to quarter life crisis. Yeah.
I don't know if I have one thing that I work with. I try to take everybody's situation and deal with it the best I see fit, depending on the person.
Yeah.
I don't know in terms of highlighting one thing.
So it is customized depending on how they open up. And,
Yeah.
And obviously the goal for each of the clients would be ultimately removing all the questions and having that clear path and go through it.
Knowing how to move forward.
Moving forward. Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, thank you, Mandy, for your time, for sharing. This is Mandy Reeve, Transformational Coach, and she is a coach to help you deal with your quarter life crisis. Now, as I've said earlier, we do this every week, so it's an ongoing series wherein we bring in specialists, experts, coaches. This is part of the common community here, of course, live at Parnell. Next week, we're going to have Deborah Chantry, founder of the Common Invental, get her back and ask her more about, you know, when to actually outsource, or maybe is it best to just keep things in-house. So if you have any questions, again, we would like to invite you to come over here at the Common at 1 Faraday Street at Parnell to join the audience, of course. 12:30. Yeah, 12:30.
From the audience.
12:30 p.m. every Tuesday, and we love to hear your feedback. Please give us and tell us what topics you would like us to discuss. We'd love to hear from you. All right, so see you again all next week.